What's up, everybody? How's it going? Today is July 7th, 2019. In this video, I'm going to talk about the death of Disney actor Cameron Boyce, who is said to have passed away yesterday at the young age of 20. And this death, although pretty sudden, is said to be the result of an ongoing medical condition for which he was being treated. Now, in my videos, I talk about all of these celebrity deaths, whether it's actors, musicians, athletes, especially the ones who die at young ages. And I talk about how all of these deaths are happening by something called the Eclipse Crucifixion Code. In the New Testament, Jesus is crucified in a tale told by 4 different Gospels, and in 3 of those Gospels, they talk about the sky falling dark during the crucifixion. Many historians interpret this event to be a solar eclipse. And it seems like all of these celebrities are dying by the numbers in relation to total solar eclipses. And it's my belief that not all of these actors and actresses are even dying in the first place. It's probably one of 2 things. Either these deaths are being faked and we're just seeing some sort of numeric ritual playing out, or these actors could actually be sacrificed by the code. The third option is that the organic matrix code is at play, and these people are actually dying naturally. However, I find this to be highly unlikely, considering the bizarre circumstances under which so many of these celebrities die. Now, in this channel, I talk about the language of Gematria, the component of numerology that I probably focus on the most. And when you find the numeric values of names, words, and phrases by looking at this language and comparing it with dates on the calendar, you find that, without a doubt, something very strange is going on. And it's my belief, as well as many of my subscribers, that the dark occult, so to speak, who is running our mainstream media and feeding us our news stories every day, are exercising knowledge of this code through the news on the daily. And once you too are familiar with this language, you can decode their propaganda and get a better view on what is real and what's fake in this world. So first of all, consider how Cameron Boyce, his Wikipedia page, seen on the left side of your page, died on the date July 6th, 7/6. July 6th is the 187th day on the Gregorian calendar. Many people are familiar with 187 as the homicide code. As in California, this is the penal code for murder, made popular by a lot of 90s rap songs. Notice how this image of Christ on the cross was finished in 1870. Why is this significant? Well, the word or phrase total eclipse equals 187 using the reverse alphabetic order. The ancient accepted Scottish rite of Freemasonry, the secret society who exhibits this numeric knowledge, has Gematria of 187. So does Society of Jesus, the Jesuit order. And we see a 187 there as well. As far as the date July 6th, written 7/6 here in the United States, Cameron was known for being a Disney actor, using the standard alphabetic order, where A is 1, B is 2, through Z is 26. The word Disney sums to 76. We're also going to crack open a couple of capital letter ciphers that are available on my website, and these are definitely very significant as well. There's a couple of these. Frank Baconis mixes capital letters with small letters, 1 through 52. Francis Bacon puts the small letters first and then the large capital letters. So small letters 1 through 26, capital letters 27 through 52. And the name Boyce, using Francis Bacon Gematria, also has this Gematria of 76, and we'll talk about the 99 later on in this video. In reduction gematria, using the S exception, both the phrases human sacrifice and blood sacrifice have a value of 76. So Cameron starred in several feature films, but the television show for which he was best known was a Disney Channel series called Jessie, where he played a character named Luke Ross. And what's interesting is that Luke Ross has an ordinal value of 120 in Gematria. This matches the name Cameron, the guy who played him, 120. So the show Jessie last aired on October 16th of 2015. Notice how October 16th is the date that leaves 76 days on the calendar. Remember, this man dying on the date 7/6, his name equals 76, just like Disney. Another very significant thing to understand about numerology is prime number relationships, as numbers are considered to be related to their prime factorization. Well, the 76th prime number is 383. Now, if you were to measure from the date Jessie last aired to the date of this man's death, it was a span of exactly 3 years, 8 months, and 3 weeks. And just to show you this is no coincidence, look at the CNN headline that they gave us. Disney Channel star Cameron Boyce dies at age 20. Well, in the alphabetic order, this gives us a value of 383. Again, the 76th prime number matching the date on which he died. These media outlets, very well versed in the language that I am trying to wake the world up to. So the date July 6th, internationally, is written 6/7. And it's interesting because Jessie, in the alphabetic order, equals 67. Also, blood sacrifice, human sacrifice, both having values of 67 in reduction. On his Wikipedia page, when you look up his death, it's a very short piece, because they'd rather you not think about how he died, just the fact that he died. Look at the phrase they put in quotes as for his cause of death. Due to a seizure, which was a result of an ongoing medical condition for which he was being treated. In Jewish Gematria, this cipher, certainly the most significant outside of the base methods, which I've been showing you, it's based in the ancient Latin alphabetic order, and produces much larger numbers than our ordinal values. Well, in Jewish Gematria, this phrase sums to 6767. Kind of a double sacrifice code right there in the cause of death. And something else that sticks out about this television series, Jessie. Notice how it began in the year 2011. Using the alphabetic order, ritual human sacrifice equals 211. And if you look at the date that it first aired, September 30th of 2011 to the last episode, you find it lasted exactly 211 weeks. So how interesting that a star of this series, appearing to have died by the ritual human sacrifice code that we've become familiar with. So I opened up the video talking about the crucifixion of Jesus Christ and how all of these celebrity deaths are essentially numeric recreations of this biblical event. This is no exception here. Not only did this Jessie television series run for 211 weeks, but if you measure from its first episode to the date that Cameron Boyce died, you get a little over 93 months. And this is a number that's very significant to the code. The word crucifix equals 93. Jesus was of Nazareth, which sums to 93. And he came claiming to be God's son, which equals 93. And think about it. God's sun, well, our sun is approximately 93 million miles away. So this number is very important too. And the date of the first episode was even September 30th, written 9/30, just like 93, this guy dying 93 months later. But how about this? If we instead convert to years and weeks, Cameron Boyce died exactly 7 years and 40 weeks after the show first aired. And why is this significant? Well, here we have the number 74 because, of course, zeros ignored in the result. 74 is the alphabetic ordinal value of Jesus, who died on the cross, which was told in the gospel. It's the story of the Messiah being told in the form of parables. All of these words summing to 74. So here we're looking at the 74th prime number. Again, prime number is very significant. So here we see it's 373. Well, on the calculator, there's also a prime number cipher. This built on the alphabetic order 1 through 26, but it only uses associated prime numbers. All of these numbers only divisible by 1 and itself. And look at the name Cameron Boyce. In this prime number cipher, it sums to 373, the 74th prime number, giving us another direct connection to the name Jesus. Well, direct, I guess, depending on your definition, but if you're familiar with this code like I am, you see very well how it works. Next, we'll look at his birth numerology. Cameron Boyce, born on May 28th of 1999. Cameron Boyce was born on a date with full numerology of 151, 5 plus 28 plus 19 plus 99. In the alphabetic order, the name Jesus Christ equals 151. Furthermore, the name Jesus equals 61 in the reverse order. This kid's life lesson number was 61. His reduced numerology was even 43. And in reduction, Jesus Christ equals 43. As far as the 61 that I mentioned, which syncs up with Jesus, the name Cameron Boyce also with this value of 61 in reverse reduction. And if you use square numbers, so every number multiplied by itself, the name Boyce equals 888, and that's the Greek isopsephy of the name Jesus, 888. Notice how Cameron Boyce was also born on a date with 33 numerology. This is interesting because the name Cameron equals 33. The word eclipse equals 33. The total solar eclipse of 2019 occurred on July 2nd, just a few days before this kid's death. Of course, Jesus crucified under an eclipse. And a lot of people believe that Jesus was 33 years old when he was crucified. Crucifixion of Jesus Christ equals 303 in the alphabetic order. But check out the Jewish Gematria cipher. Crucifixion of Jesus Christ equals 2040. On the date he died, Boyce was exactly a span of 20 years and 40 days old, 2040. So here you do not even need to ignore the zeros to see the clear connection to the crucifixion code. And by the way, not only does Cameron and Eclipse share the number 33, but they also share 69, 120, and 39. Cameron dying 39 days after his birthday without the end date. Cameron also 209, just like how Christ is 290. And as far as the name Cameron Boyce, this gives us a value of 119. Eclipse crucifixion code equals 119 in reduction. For the last part of this video, I want to take a look at the numerology of Adam Sandler. And if you read CNN's article, they're quick to point out that he starred alongside Adam Sandler in the film Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2. And then as we get towards the bottom, we see Adam Sandler is the first one who's mentioned as giving his condolences out on Twitter. And wouldn't you believe, Adam Sandler's numerology is a huge part of this ritual as well. First of all, consider how Cameron Boyce equals 205 in the reverse alphabetic order. So does the name Adam Sandler, 205. The date that Cameron died even had numerology of 25. However, Adam Sandler is currently 52 years old. This death on a date with full numerology of 52. But what I find interesting the most about Adam Sandler's numerology is his birth date. Check it out. It's September 9th, 1966. This means his birthday, 9/9/66, contains a 99 and a 99, but it's flipped upside down. Either way, this is very significant. Let's crack open our capital letter ciphers once more and check out how the name Sandler equals 99 using Francis Bacon with capitals at the end. His co-star, the kid who just died, was named Boyce. The name Boyce equals 99 in the other capital letter cipher. And, of course, Cameron Boyce was born in the year 99. So how about this? The 99th prime number is 523. Look at how old Adam Sandler was when Boyce died. He was born 9/9/66. Meaning that on the date of this kid's death, he was exactly 52 years, 300 days old, like 523. 523, the 99th prime number, which connects directly to his birth date and the year that he was born. A couple more things at the end, but those are very minor. I think here we've really torn apart the code that's being used to off these celebrities. And I can only hope that this kid wasn't really killed. You know, best case scenario, this death is all fake and he's just retiring into a different role in life. Worst case scenario, he was murdered by the executives who essentially organized these shows. And that's what I really hope is not happening. Of course, if this is just how the Matrix works, then so be it. But it's still incredibly interesting because that would mean that the Bible essentially encodes the numeric patterns by which we are born and die in this world deep within. But if I had to guess, I would say that this might just be an entire hoax, you know. This kid was part of the industry from day one, starring in music videos at the age of 8, 9 years old. This is a different class. This is a different culture than the standard American who works a full-time job and does that 5 days a week. So no doubt we're looking at something very consistent when it comes to this Eclipse Crucifixion Code. Thanks to everybody who jumped in the live chat today. I guess Sunday afternoon's a pretty good time to stream. Haven't seen 53 people live in a while, so thanks to everybody for popping in. And it's funny, you know, nobody that ever comes in here ever debates my work. You know, the work is so solid, it speaks for itself. What I think is pretty sad is how other Gematria channels have pointed out that my website contains too many ciphers, right? You know, you'll see a guy, oh, what does the name God equal? Oh, you can pick any of these numbers. And For whatever reason, this poor soul who's been desperate to draw attention away from my work and to his own has tried using this as means to debunk my work. But anyone with a frickin' brain who watches my videos understands that I barely use a fraction of these ciphers. We're sticking to the alphabetic order and Jewish gematria like we do in every single video. And it's unfortunate that some people who claim to try to be enlightening you to ancient occulted knowledge are actually purposely misleading you into a vortex of nothingness, when my work completely disassembles the code that the mainstream media is using to feed us our news. As far as how I figured this all out, look, I mean, it's a group effort. You know, I've been doing this for several years. In 2017, it became clear to me that solar eclipses were incredibly important. That all began with the death of Chris Cornell. And ever since then, I started to study eclipses and the biblical numerology that surrounds them. And I've discovered that, no doubt, events that we're witnessing in this world are 100% related to the dates on which total solar eclipses occur. Lunar eclipse is significant as well, but nothing tops a total solar eclipse. It's definitely the coolest thing to see, that's for sure. And yeah, I mean, the way I see it, we have the devil acting through people to try and mislead people into bullshit ciphers, you know, like the 1 through 7. And here I am trying to give you guys the real skinny on what's really going on in this matrix. And it's sad that people got to speak out against it. Just a question. Someone named Rocker Chick here. How do you know he was really killed? How do you know? Because what I'm trying to do is trying to open your guys' mind and make you think of all different possibilities. You know, for one, if he was really just flat out murdered, wouldn't there be some sort of uproar from the family? Instead, we're being told that he was being treated for the medical condition for which he died. So this is a good way to cover up a kind of a fake one, you know? And I'm just curious why people have solid opinions on this. Why does anybody come into my channel and say, hey, this guy is really absolutely dead, or this person definitely faked his death? Because I get opinions from both sides. How the hell do you people claim to know? I really want to know. Because what I like to point out is that we don't know. And these numbers point us at the fact that we're being played with by the controllers, the master class manipulators. You know what I mean? I do have a backup channel that's under my real name, Derek Tikori, which I will punch in the chat here. So you're just saying, you know, based on his lyrics, he didn't like being controlled in the industry. That's possible. However, if this is all a shit show and this kid's really still alive and he's just part of this master class that's ruling over us, it would also make a lot of sense for them to give him lyrics making it look like he hated being controlled when they knew that they were going to kill that character off anyway. You know, that makes sense to me too, because they're trying to keep us confused, right? The further they can keep us from the truth, the better off they think they are. And just remember that anything fed to us, even from the characters themselves, it's all controlled. It's all going through the same filter. It's coming from the same origin. So just be careful on forming complete opinions on exactly what we're witnessing, because, you know, like I said, the things that I've been pointing to are that this organic code is absolutely real, but there's a mixture. It's people really dying by the numbers, and then bullshit that's meant to bring people down. I mean, think about how many kids grew up watching this kid and are now feeling deep sadness today. And that's what this is all about. It's about this mind control matrix, this trauma-based mind control, which is now seeped into the mainstream media. And this is something that I think people kind of fail to realize, is that the the experiments that are acknowledged to have occurred that had to do with mind control and trauma-based mind control date back to the 50s, 60s, 70s, back to Operation Paperclip with the Nazi scientists. This goes way back. And the fact that these experiments are said to have ended 30, 40 years ago, that should be a sign that they've actually advanced these things. And now, our daily news, the mainstream media, this is the result of the trauma-based mind control experiments that were being conducted for so many years. They're trying to create a nation full of people who are traumatized and are thus living in fear. That's really the basis of what I see happening. And no doubt, people waking up crying in tears because of this death, when it may not have actually even happened. And if it did, he could have been killed. But it's really dark what's happening, and, you know, too few people are speaking out about this agenda, because too few people appear to be able to easily see this code, which is completely undeniable. So, I mean, I sympathize with you, Rocker Chick. Like, you know, they give us these characters, and, you know, we feel emotionally tied to their lyrics and their voices and their stories. And, you know, you just kind of, it sucks to say this because I'm all for loving all people, all human beings, and being joyful in their presence and everything, but try not to let yourself get emotionally attached to people or things that you don't personally know, because there's a chance that they could be manipulating you. And, you know, I don't want to tell people to live guarded lives, but when it comes to the media and things that are being fed to you, just be really careful in investing emotion, because it's likely to fuck with you. That's what this whole circle, this whole wheel is all about. All right, guys. So with that, I'm going to wrap this video up. Thanks again to everybody who jumped in. Again, the code is undeniable. Same thing every day. Go ahead and see my video from just 2 days ago talking about a billionaire who died in a helicopter crash, all having to do with July 4th, the date he died. He was exactly 61 years old. His name summed to 740, the two Jesus numbers I talked about in this video. So go back. Again, the code has been cracked. It's just a matter of whether or not, or how far ahead of it we can get to a matter where we can predict things. So, yeah. So with that, thanks to everybody again. Peace, love, and God bless. And we'll see you next time. Adios.